For the very first time, 12 renowned chefs from all around the world have gathered together here in Hoi An to celebrate culinary as well as Vietnamese cuisine in the first ever Taste the World event. Now here in this edition of Talk Vietnam, we get to sit down with some of them to talk about their passion for food as well as love for Vietnamese cuisine. First of all, we have Uwe Mikkel, who is the director of the Emirates Culinary Guild. Second, we have an Australian Sri Lankan chef who has got his own show on Australian television, Chef Happy K. And finally, we have Miss Ching Diem Vi, who's also the partner of Chef Gordon Ramsay on his cooking show, Gordon's Great Escapes, done in Vietnam. Now, Vi and Chef Happy K are the hosts of this year's Taste the World event. Thank you guys for joining our show. First of all, what made you want to host this event? What is the purpose behind this?
I think that the main goal is to bring the international food to Vietnam and bring to Vietnamese gastronomy to the world.
Okay.
We start one step back. How this created, because I call me the founder of this event. Well, what it is I've been traveling Vietnam for like last 15 years, so from north to south, everywhere, home food, restaurant food, hotel food. You have a fabulous product here. What beautiful mix of Vietnam, beautiful fresh ingredients. Everything is available in this town. So, I fell in really love with this food here, and beautiful atmosphere and nice old city. Everybody knows Hoi An because it's a heritage city. They never knew such thing called food is accepted here, like this pattern. You go to the market, you can find anything and everything.
So Uwe, what excited you the most about this event? What made you want to come here and participate?
Well, first of all, the fact that we meet 12 chefs, some of them are new before, from all over the world. So as we always say, the white jacket doesn't know politics and doesn't know religions. We have one thing in common, this is passion for food.
So as a participant of this event, what opportunities do you think an event like this could offer to you guys?
It's for us to learn more about Vietnam, or Vietnamese food, to learn about the culture, to learn about different cooking techniques, which we can take back. When we chefs are traveling, it's all about knowledge sharing, because that's why we grow. Everyone, even if you have well-known chefs who say they know a lot, but you never stop learning. As more as you travel, as more as you go to different countries, every time you bring different knowledge back, you learn something new. And this is what is so excited about the food, that you can also, then you can blend the food a little bit. Now to put some of the Vietnamese flavors into my food. And this is what makes me exciting, Recipes, except when it comes to baking, you have to follow 100% the recipes. But when it comes to salads or to hot dishes, you can play around. You can work with your heart. I always say, the best dishes you create when you go to the market in the morning. Just collect and then start cooking. And this is normally the best food what comes out, because you do it from your heart. You put your passion into it because you like the ingredients, and then you put the flavors together. And this is most of the time the best dishes you get.
Out of the things that you've learned, which sort of thing impressed you the most, and what would you like to bring home?
The most impressive for me was that there's a lot of techniques and a lot of dishes what we have here. It's very simple actually. It's all about the product. It's not about overworking the food. It's to bring out, just to highlight the flavors of the individual dishes. Mango should taste like mango. Then you don't put 20, 30 other dishes together. You don't mix too many ingredients. Most of the Vietnamese dishes have only very few ingredients, but that's why the flavors are so good.
For the first ever Hoi An International Food Festival, Taste the World, 12 chefs from 12 countries worldwide demonstrated their cooking skills at 12 local restaurants. The participating restaurants were decorated and themed the countries of the visiting chefs who prepared traditional dishes from their respective countries.
One of the challenges that you've set is to let the international chefs make their own dishes using Vietnamese ingredients. What's the reason behind this?
Being the chef for so many years, and I think Vietnamese ingredient is so, is very beautiful, great quality, and so many things, and the rest of the world don't have it, especially Vietnamese herb. I've been working, traveling around the world, so many countries. I realized that what we have here is really significant. We really want to show to other cuisine around the world that's what we have here. And I'm sure that this ingredient can be able to blend well with any other food culture. So it's not really challenging for the chef overseas. I mean, they've been working with food for so many years, so to have the significant ingredients, so fresh, fragrant, tasty. So I'm sure that it's the first step to bring Vietnamese ingredient, Vietnamese cuisine to the world.
Okay. When we select the chefs, what we did was we actually asked them to provide some menus for us. And that gives our restaurants to think about it. Oh wow, these are the menus. So some menus are written in their own languages. So it was really, really exciting for them. Oh, we don't know what it is. But what we did, very first day before the event started, we took all the chefs to the market and all the chefs to where actually food comes from. And when they walk through the market, they realize there's no other ingredient you need. Everything is available here. So they actually come up with their dishes from the market where we have. So that was a challenge that we were given to them, and they actually executed very well.
My first date was in the market here, so I was surprised with how many different things you can find, different ingredients you can cook with this.
Write down your email ID on this.
You use lots of herbs and spices, and it's very, very interesting to see the different herbs, the way you cook in Vietnam. But it's very enjoyable and good flavours, huh?
This is the golden melon. So we use it to stir fry with some the baby shrimp or spring onion.
For me, I feel this is really the best coconut I ever tried because of the balanced taste when you have it in your mouth, and then when it goes slowly down, it really develops all its own identity. It's just good, I would say. Just really, really good.
Speaking of ingredients, I can see from your ribbon that you're quite the traveller. Food has taken you places. How do you rate Vietnamese ingredients?
Fantastic, fresh, flavorful. I think there's very few markets, or I cannot really even think about a market in a moment where I have so many great local ingredients in one place. If I go, for example, to Paris to a market, or in Dubai to the market, there's a lot of fresh ingredients, but most of it, or at least half of it, is imported from different countries. But here, everything what is there is from the region, is from here. And I think this is second to none. I think there is no place where you find so many great and flavorful. See, like in Dubai, a lot of food is imported. So it means the fruits is not really ripe when they're picked in America or in Australia or South Africa. So when we get them, they look fantastic, but they don't really taste nice. And here, because everything is grown in the sun, it's grown and it's only picked when it's ripe. So the flavor is really there, which is very important for good fruits and vegetables. Even if you don't look at the food, if you look at the people in my country and you look at the people here, then you see what is the biggest difference in food. The food is much more healthier, much lighter, a lot more fresh vegetable, a lot more fresh fruit, less carbohydrates. Like in Germany, there is no food without potatoes, for example. Or it's much heavier. The sauces are much thicker. You know, it's as I call it, it's actually winter food, not you know, where you. And here you don't see a lot overweight people. Okay, the people who you see who are overweight is people who travel a lot. but otherwise, normally they look much healthier, and we're eating wrong because we are in our tradition the food is much heavier. So I think this is the biggest difference.
Có một cái vị chua chua, ngọt ngọt khiến em cảm giác nó thèm ăn hơn.
Đâu hả?
Vị nó rất là đặc biệt, đặc biệt là cái phần nước sốt ấy, nó rất là ngon.
Oh, this looks amazing! I can't wait to eat it! That is the best prawn ever! I love prawns!
Okay, so Chef Happy K, how do you think you guys have gone so far in the competition? How do you feel about the atmosphere and the vibes?
It was not actually a competition, it's actually a one group working together to one goal. And my personal view is with the whole Hoi An experience, I think the Hoi An is the capital of gourmet capital of Vietnam. You know, if you're a traveler, you know, you should be thinking about coming here just for food, for nothing else. But of course, you know, food everywhere is fantastic, but this is a different here.
So what was it like to follow the chefs to create their own dishes representing their own countries and cultures using the local ingredients here in Vietnam? Let's find out in our following story as I followed along them. Here I am at the International Food Festival where, as you can see, all the international chefs are working really hard to prepare their really intricate dishes to show the national pride and their cultures through cuisine. And here with me I have Chef Uwe Mikkel. Hi, how you doing, man?
Hello, good.
So what have you got for me? What are you planning to make?
Schnitzel with roast potatoes and beans. It's one of the most, I think after the sausage, the most famous dish in Germany. The only little addition what I've changed is I have different mushrooms. Right. Because German champignons, what we normally use, we don't have here, but they are as good or even better. They're great for the sauce.
Wow, this is seriously like the food heaven for a massive foodie like me. Well, having had a taste of Europe, I now want to move on to South Asia to check out what our friends from Sri Lanka have got on offer. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. So can you show me what you're doing?
You can see Deval is a item in Sri Lanka which is move every restaurant, every bar. It's when you take a drink, they ask for a Deval.
Actually, Sri Lanka cuisine not use artificial flavor, artificial color, natural ingredient. 42 item used Sri Lanka.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Well, it's a very good and positive atmosphere, I can say. Everybody is happy, the tourists are happy, the Vietnamese people are happy.
In today's time, it's quite important for very peaceful, things to happen in the world. Food is something which brings everybody together.
Because life is one big challenge. And I thought this was a challenge of a lifetime.
As the organisers of the event, what did you think about the performances of the chefs and their works here?
I'm very satisfied, and the chefs have got very strong characters. That's the good thing about it. But they're blending very well as a team, of course, and then also they select the right dishes to meet the environment. Because I was grown up in Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka is another country that who has a lot of traditional, a lot of flavors, a lot of authenticity, and it's amazing how some of the chefs. I've got a Sri Lankan chef here, and also Indian chef, and also Mauritius and German, and all these chefs has their own very high level traditional food, and marrying this one together it was a bit hard initially, but they went to the market and they select the right ingredients and they put together very nice food. So yes, chefs are working really good, and I'm very happy about the way they do it.
So what impressed you the most about the works, the dishes by the chefs this year?
I'm really impressed with a lot of food they promote in this time. Every time they come up with a new dish, the one who willing to try at the first, and every night I go around the Hoi An city to check out all the chefs doing and taste what they're doing, and I think they did a great job. And I learned so much, so thinking about using their recipes too.
Great. Uwe, what do you think about the other peers?
I think the most important thing was that we all did really traditional dishes. We did dishes what we grown up with, not modern, fancy, new things, which is little food on big plates, and it's all very, very traditional food what we had. And we could see that a lot of basics are actually similar. That is not so totally different. There's a lot of things which we realized when we talk to each other. Yes, we do something like this, or we do something like this. So especially when we are from the similar region also. And it's not, food is all the same. It comes back, as we repeat it again, it's come back to the great ingredients. If you have even a chef who's not that strong or not that experienced, if he has great ingredients, he can still create a good dish. But you can be the best chef in the world. If you don't have good ingredients, it's very hard to create a good. We can do something, but it's very, very hard. But with these great ingredients, we all have the same when we talk to each other, we realized with the food what we have here, we can all do our traditional, really traditional dishes and get the flavors very close to home. Not 100% the same, but very, very close to home.
So the history and heritage of Vietnamese culture lives in every taste of Vietnamese cuisine. Let's check out this in our following piece about Vietnamese traditional cuisine.
This is cao lầu, or Hoi An style noodle, a texture to the forks consisting of crispiness from the croutons, crunchiness from the bean sprouts, chewiness from the meat, and the noodles should be firm yet soft and smooth. Phan Binh is the third generation to make cao lầu in his family.
Của Lào truyền thống ở nhà mà tôi rất là đặc biệt hơn cách chỗ khó. Nguyên liệu từ cái nguyên liệu tới cái sản phẩm rất là tốt, rất là ngon.
Thousands of flavorful dishes like cao lầu derive from the home cooking meals in everyday life of Vietnamese people.
You know, if you go back to your mother, your grandmother and everything else, this is traditions through the family, the way that the family would cook at home. In England, it would not happen this way. You know, you have good food, but plain food. In here, you have exciting food, something that for the tourists that to get their teeth in. And I haven't heard one tourist that I've spoken to say anything bad against the food. The food everybody enjoys. It's a communal thing, a family gathering.
The Vietnamese food, how they make it here, how they make it from their moms and from the grandmothers. So with this way, they're gonna stay this food and high level in Europe, in America, and everywhere.
If you are sticking to your roots, going back to your grandparents and great-grandparents, what they had in that time, and you are modernized it a little bit, while taking always in consideration the original ingredients, taking this kind of flavors which they had, because this is your childhood memories. And in addition to that, you have to go forward and really actively go out from the country and talk about your cuisine.
So with your 15 years of experience working with Vietnamese food, what do you think defines Vietnamese food? What is the quintessence of Vietnamese cuisine?
When you're looking at a dish, you know exactly what's in there. There's no hidden secrets of this is the ingredient that we don't know. I mean, as an example, where I come from, you know, we have curries, you know, and curry, the beautiful flavors. But if somebody doesn't know, it's very hard to understand what ingredients goes into this dish. And Vietnamese food is very simple and it's straightforward and easy. And when you look at a dish, you actually can see what is there. And you know, world famous pho, you know, as an example, you know, everybody loves it. Every culture, every people, everyone around the world, they know that's a bowl of soup. And bowl of soup has all the ingredients straight into water, and you know, you cannot define any further than, you know, Vietnamese food how fresh it is. It is all about you have such a unique way of sorting ingredients, you know, utilizing herbs and fresh ingredients together, and those flavors come from that. So my version of that is the freshness and simple and easy. That's what it's all about, Vietnamese food.
Nice. So what do you think makes our food special?
The Vietnamese have a saying said that all the disease come from your mouth, and all the disaster come out from your mouth. So we're talking about so important about how much food can bring to your health. When we grow up, you know, grandmom say, "Oh, this is too hot for you. This is too much yin. This is too much yang." That's how we balance. So I learned from there. And for Vietnamese food, you can see easily like a bowl of pho during the French colony and occupation, and the Vietnamese learn how to make pot au feu from French people. And instead of call it pot au feu, we call it pho. That's one of theory, but I believe strongly that's the right one. Using oxtail from the big bone and some vegetable and cook it for a long time. And you know, the pot au feu, French serve with baguette, French bread, and Vietnamese serve with noodle, because rice is our main carbohydrates. And instead of cook exactly the same way of the French people cook, with some vegetable, onion and beef bone, the Vietnamese put ginger. Yes. So the rest, if for us we say it's too much yin for us, so we need yang. What is that? Ginger. The Glover grilled ginger to balance everything. So that's why you love to drink the broth of pho. That's a very simple sample to see that how we learn from other countries and how we how adapting to Vietnamese cuisine and to balance them, suitable with our weather, suitable with to create more about metabolism.
I have eaten pho all my life, and I never knew about all these balance or anything at all. Thanks so much for that.
Yes, a bit of ginger make the broth is because using oxtail is quite fatty. That's how Vietnamese balance it.
Why every day? The average person in Britain goes shopping once a week.
We have to shop every day.
Appearing on Gordon's Great Escape, Chef Trịnh Diệm Vi acts as show consultant and teaches Gordon some of the basics of Vietnamese cuisine. Born and raised in the UNESCO World Heritage Town of Hội An, Miss Vi is a third-generation cook whose family recipes have garnered recognition throughout the country. Truly impassioned by food, Miss Vi has also played an important role in keeping traditional recipes alive.
One of the things that also defines Vietnamese food is the family eating habits and routines. What makes this important and special to the Vietnamese culture?
You know, look at the tray of Vietnamese meal, like what we call home food, lunch or dinner. We have a bowl of rice and a bowl of soup and some small fish and a bowl of dipping sauce, which is nước mắm, and then we got some pickle, we got some fresh herb. So look at from your eye, you might think, oh, compared to with Western food, it's lack of protein. Yeah. So that's why they say that why we're small. But being the chef and also I take a job to analyze about nutrition, I would say the balance is more important than anything, because from the balance to create we call the metabolism. Yes. So all your food is healthy to your body or not come from metabolism. So that means a tray of food for lunch or dinner, I would say it's so balancing. We have a bit of carbohydrate come from rice, we have fiber and vitamin come from vegetable, herbs, and a bit of protein, and then we got some mineral come from the broth. That's why Vietnamese people, we don't drink during the meal. We drink the broth of the soup.
Okay, cool. And Uwe, you are also the director of the Emirates Culinary Guild. Can you share some of your experience in preserving and promoting your own traditional food to the world?
Let me start first here. The traditional food is still everything here. So in a lot of countries we have lost that. We have lost the traditional street food. Like here, when you go out in Hoi An in the evening, you still have the ladies with their stalls, with traditional things and doing simple, small things. But it's still everything there in the market. It's still everything simple like it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. We in Dubai, for example, because the nationals were very proud because that they became very fast international, but they lost a lot of their own flair. Now we have started to bring it back. Like I'm opening in my hotel, I work in Dubai in the Radisson Blu Hotel. We are opening a local restaurant in 2 months, which was not existing in big hotels, because everything is international only. So I'm opening a restaurant with traditional Emirati home food. And the other part of the menu will be local products, but international food. So I call it my adopted home country's food and my food. So I do with the local products, I do some German and international dishes also. So I think it's very important to bring this back, to preserve that. So I think if I can leave a message here, I think you're so lucky to have it there. So make sure you keep an area where you preserve it. The difficulty is what I've seen in a lot of other countries, that the young generation, they don't want to do that anymore. You know, it's all a social media generation. I call it's a Facebook generation, and they don't want to do their traditional things. So, but I think it's very important to preserve that, and to bring it back is very difficult. Like as I said, in Dubai now we try to bring it back, and I'm even working on a book now with traditional home food recipes, because the only place where you can find recipes, you have to go to local houses, talk to, not to the young people. The young people, they all know how to make spaghetti and pizza, but they don't know anymore the traditional dishes. So you have to go to the older people to really find out how it's done in the past. And I think it's very, very important. And I think our government also realized now, and they are now pushing to try to bring culture back. And I think it's very, very important that, because we want our grandchildren to be able to see what is here now. And if we go too international, too westernized, we lose all that. Now, I see this country growing very fast in the number of tourists in the next 2 years, because the reason is because it is still Vietnam, you know, it's still, the traditions are still there.
Vietnam has to be on the world map of food because it is an outstanding cuisine.
My eyes were opened completely. There is nothing like this in England at all. You enhance the food, you don't take anything away, it's lovely to taste it.
You have basically all the foundation to have great food due to the way and to the cooking techniques.
Not because you are one Vietnamese living from here, I go to Europe, change his kind of food and make it a little bit more nice to the European people. No, just keep it like the way it's here. That's the proper one, and that's the way it has to be.
We will be ambassadors tomorrow to be able to tell to the whole world how impressed we've been with your culinary culture, with your people, and how we've found really wholehearted people here.
This is amazing.
So what does the future hold for Taste the World? Do you guys plan to have another one next year, or?
Yes, the whole idea is to have, like you said, you know, this is the first one. This is the baby just born. So the whole idea is to have more of these international events in the city to promote the Vietnamese culture, Vietnamese food through Hoi style. And having an event like this, I think so far my experience is it's needed. It's way beyond the time, you know. So we have to do more and more to take this beautiful food to the world. You know, you have such a great product, and we have to do that. You know.
So V, do you plan to grow this baby a little bit more?
For sure, like I said, that the Vietnamese food always say that we are a little behind. So it's time to do a lot of action into this food culture to be able to catch up to the world. There are so many ideas. We haven't finished this event. We already have some idea for the end of the year. I'm so proud to involve to make a decision for this happening, and for sure that the right thing for me to do for my hometown and for my career too.
Okay. So Uwe, what more would you like to see in next year's Taste the World?
I think it is a fantastic event, so it's very hard to say now. Yes, I think the best, the most what we learned out of it as a chefs now, for me, one of the most important things was going to the market and listening to Mrs. Wee when she was explaining all the different products, the flavors of the different herbs and what are they doing to the body, why the basil is good, why the mint is good, and what it is for. So and I think to listen to that and then start to create and use these products for our own dishes, I think that was, for me personally at least, it was very, very exciting. So if I have my recipe, yes, I brought the book, I put the recipes on the desk and said, okay, this is what we do. This is boring, you know. It's a good thing is, yeah, this now we have a base, the base to work with, but now we start to use our passion, our heart, and then prepare what we can do with a local dish. We are servants. We are in the service industry. So the most important thing for us is to talk to our guests, to talk to our customers. How do they like it? The biggest reward for any chef is when the guest leaves the restaurant and says, thank you, chef, I had a great meal. You can't have a bigger reward. You know, money cannot give you that. Money cannot give you that feeling what you have when you see happy guests. That's the most important part. It's not for our ego that we say, oh, we create something. No, important thing is, do the customer like it? You know, do our guests like what we have done? And or when we go back to a more smaller tradition, does our family, does our children, does the husband likes what the wife is cooking? Or the other way around, does the wife likes what the husband is cooking? So I'm only happy when I cook something at home, when my wife says after, it was really nice, I liked it. When I see that she eats it because she wants to be polite, but she doesn't really like it, you know, then it's not the same feeling. So I think what we want to pass on, our happiness, our feelings, our passion to the people. It might be family, it might be customers. So I think this is where we measure the success. And when you talk to the guests and see how happy they are and how much they like the festival and we explain what we're doing, I think this is the proof that the whole festival, the whole show was very, very successful.
It all goes back to family and home, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much for your interesting insights. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. Well, we hope that you, audience at home, enjoyed our little chat, our discussion as well, celebration of international and Vietnamese gastronomy as well. Goodbye for now, and until next time on Talk Vietnam.